Colorado without Greg Hanna, but shout out to Greg. And my guest today is actress, boxer, entrepreneur, Janae Noonan. How are you today?
I am fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So let's talk about it. What came first in your career and doing all those different things?
Oh my gosh, what did come first? Let's see, 2000. Oh God, I'm gonna date myself. 2000 boxing. No, 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 no. Modeling came first. I modeled in high school.
Okay. And
Yeah.
after modeling, how can you go from modeling to boxing?
So randomly I moved into a house that had two professional fighters. And this is back when like MySpace was totally a thing. And I had a crap ton of MySpace followers. So when I moved into the house, both professional fighters had their own gyms and they were like, we will train you if you promote our gym. It was like the first social media marketing kind of thing way back when before it was even a thing. And I was an athlete. Oh, I guess I'm still an athlete. I was semi-pro soccer player, so I was an athlete, and I picked up boxing really quick and MMA and jujitsu, and ironically, there was a promotion called Perfect 10 Model Boxing where they had previously tried to hire models to do boxing, and it like failed horribly. And so they hired boxers that could look like models. And I did this Perfect 10 model boxing event and was unaware that I was fighting a model and knocked her out in like 36 seconds. And I felt really bad. Um, but so that's how modeling literally transitioned to boxing. And I never I just continued down the boxing route and still modeling. But that was it was a weird transition. You're right, but that's how it happened.
So then you go and do a boxing match, then you're modeling. And what types of modeling did you do?
So when I was in high school, I did like clothes, and I mean, back then, like you had an agent who would send you out on casting calls, and there wasn't like the huge like influencer social media thing. So I was in magazines, and I did import car racing for a while. I actually had this is so funny that I'm going down this rabbit hole. I had a street racing car, and I modeled next to my own car in the street racing worlds, or the import worlds, and so I did that as well. What a
Yes,
funny rabbit
but
hole!
so many different things from boxing then to MMA. So that's even crazier, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the MMA took off. Like
Yeah, so
the
so like just talk about boxing. And we all know boxing. I'm a former professional wrestler, but I did a fixed boxing match once in my career. And literally this guy was like a 500 pound guy. He's passed away. God rest his soul. He wrestled as Buddha back in the 90s in West Virginia area and all over the Smoky Mountains. And literally I would get in he said, dude, we're gonna go do a tough man boxing thing, and you're gonna throw the fight. I said, okay. And so I'm a legitimate 6'10". I was 320 pounds then. We go out. I never boxed in my life. And we did a fake fixed deal. But I let him hit me as hard as I could because I'm used in pro wrestling just to get, you know, killed. And like at that time it was the ECW era. So we were doing some crazy stuff, Buddha and I, before that. So we're like, okay, just doing a boxing match. But it can be really not dangerous, but so many shots to the head, different things. What made you want to transition from boxing to MMA? Just kind of
I
mentioning that because MMA, I think, is even more dangerous. I have done shoot fighting in pro wrestling where I was trained by my trainers when I went down south with Jerry Lawler to shoot on people. And then I finally learned some amateur wrestling and I stretched people who wouldn't listen to me. And they
yeah,
told me, hey, go ahead, just put him down, take him down wrestling. And I also watched the Rocks movie now. So I got even more of an inside look of where the MMA started.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was actually a preservation transfer because in boxing you just get hit. Like you literally get punched. And what I liked about MMA is when I got tired of getting punched, I would just take the person to the ground and finish a fight, which is hilarious because who wants to get punched? But like, yeah, so whenever I was doing boxing, you just get punched. And I liked MMA because again, just take him to the ground, don't have to worry about getting hit as long as you're on top, and end a fight. So I like that there was more elements and there was other things you can do other than getting punched. And as a soccer player, I almost called it football, but as a soccer player, I like to kick. And in MMA, you get to kick as well. And I learned that my legs were longer and I could keep people away if I kept push kicking them. And so I took less. Ironically, I took less of a beating in MMA and well, pancration than I did in boxing. So I liked it better.
So once you got in MMA, you got involved even in competition too. Talk about some of the stuff where you had success, how the MMA world worked at that time. A little different than that today, right? With UFC and stuff. The years we're talking when you started in it.
Yeah, so I started like in 2004, which again dates me. And it was a completely different world. I was actually paid more than some people in the UFC to do literally amateur fighting because I would get paid like 10 grand to do the promotions. And I remember at the time, one of my coaches, he was in the UFC and he was appalled at how much money that I would get because I would do the interviews and I would do the promotion and I would do like, I got probably paid more to promote that fight than I did to actually fight. But overall, it was like way, sometimes more than people in the UFC were getting. And I did have, close to 1 million MySpace followers. So again, before like social like the before that was a thing, I got to use yeah, I don't want to say I was one of the original influencers because I don't want to claim that at all, but because of my huge following on MySpace, I got to make a little bit more through advertising and stuff. But at the time it was taboo for a woman. So I wasn't getting main card, I wasn't getting big fights. And 99% of the time, my opponent pulled out. Like we would do all the promotion, we would do all of that, and then we'd come to fight day and she was injured or she couldn't do it. So I think like in a lot of like the promotional stuff was more about the promotion. I did have really good success in pancration, which is the original mixed martial arts. The Greeks and the Romans did it. It was an Olympic sport until the Spartans wouldn't stop dying. And they had to take it out of the Olympics because again, the Spartans would die. And because you either had to yield or die, and the Spartans wouldn't yield. So I took it out of the Olympics. But pancration means all forms, and it was the original MMA without rules, which is why people died. But now there's rules. Now there's rules. You can't bite, you can't fish hook, you can't headbutt, so you can't die either. There's referees now. So
But the
I
the the else is interesting is your world game stuff, right?
yeah, that's what I was getting at. So the World Games, in the sport of pancration, I uh, have 4 gold medals now. And in 2024, I was considered one of the world's most dangerous women, which I don't agree with. I'm so sweet. It's probably why I can't get a date. But because of my extensive martial arts background and how many forms I know Muay Thai, Jiu Jitsu, Judo, Hapkido, karate, taekwondo, boxing. So I was just highly decorated in martial arts. So I'm a connoisseur for learning. I love learning. So I just yeah, like my educational degrees are insane too, but I just love taking in martial arts, I guess.
So basically, you are you still competing?
No.
No.
Um
And that
yeah.
goes back to the story you wanted to tell me that you told me in the green room that you just went through. The
Well,
yeah.
yes and no. I had at the end of 2024, I got my last 2 gold medals, and I had medaled in an event that I'd never done before, and it's called polydamas, which is weapons. And I had trained to do that because that was the last one that I hadn't medaled in, and I was like, why not? Let's just try it. Let's just go for it. And then after that event, I was like, I'm done. I'm older now and I have a lot of injuries. I have a neck injury, I have a back injury, I have really bad shoulder injury, and it was just like, why am I doing this? I'm a mom. I adopted the cutest special needs little child who is amazing, but he needs a lot. And when I'm training and competing, I'm in a lot of pain all the time, which wasn't fair to him. So I did retire at the end of 2024. And then in 2025, I found out that I had skin cancer and breast cancer. I found out
Wow.
2 weeks apart. And so because of the, yeah. And psychologically, I couldn't, like, I came at my old age. Why did I ever allow somebody to punch me to begin with? Like, there's like a weird,
That's where I was going to try to make a comeback into pro wrestling 2 years ago. Started a documentary, and then I saw that, my goal is to live a long, long life. I'm 53 right now, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to take bumps and get beat up so bad that's going to take years off my life. I want to live as long as I can live, and that means, to these what these new longevity people are, and that's what I'm trying to do is reverse aging. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing this anymore. I'll rather speak on stages than go and get beat up. So I decided
right,
no, I'm not doing it. Why do that? My net worth is not worth a couple more years of glory because crowd is amazing, right? Didn't in the M&A anything? Being in
yeah,
front of a live crowd is one of the best things in the world. Well, so I'll have to do it on the stage it down the line. I'm not going to do it in the ring. And I just walked away and said, you know what? This is not for me. I got involved. I'm involved in so many other projects. I'm like, no, I don't miss it, but
yeah,
because it hurts. Got back in the ring, started working again. I'm like, man, this is painful. I feel it.
right. But the funny thing is, it's always been painful. It's like, wait, well, all of a sudden we're having a conscious on why are we doing this? Why are we allowing people to physically try and harm us?
No doubt.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Your mic got cut off for a second. Like you sound like you're in a bubble.
Oh, is it
Now
better?
it's better. You're better now. Good.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
fixed. It's okay.
I'm Glendale and Glendale, whatever the in a bubble. The
No, but so that's okay. So going through how now that's 2025. We're in 20, it's only we're early 2026. How's your health going? Then we'll talk about your latest projects.
okay, so I literally get a phone call. Like this is the craziest thing. The doctor calls me and he goes, "Are you sitting down?" And I'm like looking around, like clearly I'm sitting down because it's a Zoom call. And he's like, "Well, is there anybody there with you?" And I was like, "No, I'm here alone." He goes, "Well, you have cancer and you need to go see an oncologist." And I was like, "Wait, what?" And he's like, "Yeah, you have breast cancer. You need to go see an oncologist." And I was like, "Ooh, like what stage? What's going on?" And he's like, "Oh, I have no answers for you. You have to, and as soon as they can see you is in 2 weeks." So 2 weeks of my life, I'm planning a funeral. Like all he says is you have breast cancer. So what do? I literally get my will, I plan a funeral, I get everything in order in these 2 weeks. And then I go see the oncologist and I'm like crying the whole drive. And I get there and they're like, well, you have I can't remember the correct term, but we caught it early. You have a pretty good prognosis. You have to do A, B, C, and D. And then we just have to hold our breath for 5 years. I'm like, hold our breath for 5 years. Like, but yeah, so the medical system is crazy. So I did the surgery, I did the radiation, I took some pills, and last month, no, 2 weeks ago actually, I got to ring the bell that I am currently there's no sign of disease. I can't say I'm
Good.
cancer free for 5 years, but as of February 12th, there was no sign of disease. So I say that I'm cancer free. We're not waiting around 5 years. It's gone, and we're just gonna live my best life.
That's great.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic news. And now, how's that changing your mindset, new projects, things like that? I think that definitely made you say, after that scare, no thank you about going back into MMA. You're probably more focused on the next goals for you, right, in your career.
Cancer changes you. Um, Cancer, especially those 2 weeks where especially the 2 weeks where I had no idea what type of cancer, what it was. FU doctors, like those 2 weeks were horrific. And it changes you. It puts life into perspective. I just cannot tell you how crazy those 2 weeks are and how much it internally changes you. So absolutely not going back to a sport. I have a neck injury, and I've had a neck injury since 2006, and any wrong fall would have ended my life. Like since 2006, and I
Right.
continued to 2024, like young and dumb. Um,
Yeah.
but during my cancer journey, I actually learned a lot about cancer. Obviously, I learned about the how difficult it is, um, on every aspect, on your identity, on your family, on your friends, on your. I didn't even tell my social network until I beat it, because it's just everybody has an opinion, everybody has the cure, and it was just so overwhelming. But I actually, going back a little bit, in 2025 was going to launch a coffee company, and through my cancer journey rebranded the whole coffee thing, and we're still launching it. We're launching in the next couple of weeks. I don't have the exact date, but it's called Rise. And instead of just being a coffee brand or a coffee, it is now a community. And what we're going to do is, anybody who has, we're going to start with breast cancer until we, go to start slow, and eventually spread our wings to all forms of cancer. But if Jane Doe has cancer and she needs to raise money, she can get the coffee, sell it for as much as she wants, and then she can have the profit from that coffee. So my coffee brand that was supposed to come out in 2025 is now rebranded to a community, and a way to help other women. And then the back end of the website is a community. So if Jane Doe is selling the coffee, then we have a community, we can talk, we can be with each other, like that kind of stuff. So that's how that came about, and that's my next focus, is the coffee brand.
Great.
Yeah, I still have Victory Publishing also, which ironically we're coming out with a jujitsu book, which is new to our brand. But yeah, so no more getting punched in the face, more about community and still inspiring. Like you said, instead of getting punched, I like to get on stages. So, and
Yeah, I
it's
mean, you have the brand, so just keep going, and you don't have to continue. You've already accomplished 4 gold medals. Not many people could say that in their lives, and the things that you've accomplished. Now it's time to use your brand to build where everyone's going. Personal brand's the only thing that's going to survive these days with AI, and you got to build your personal brand, because if you're not, everyone else is going to be at the same competition level as you. It's only up to your personal brand to keep it going, or you're out.
yeah.
Plain and simple. If you're in industries like you and I. So, where's the best place people can connect with you? Where can they find? But I have one more question before that. Sorry. This question's for my co-host who didn't show up today. He's
Yeah.
busy, but I understand. And it's a question we've asked all our celebrities. So, Janae, what is the most important thing in life you've ever learned?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I think I'm learning every single day through the eyes of my child. And again, I haven't said it yet. I adopted a special needs child. He is he sees the world differently. He experiences things differently, and I think the most important thing I've learned is, I don't even know, like being a mom and like watching him grow, and looking at things differently. That's what it is having the ability to look at things differently. And there it is. There's the most important thing I've learned, is to not be so fixated on the truth that other presentations of the truth are damaging to your character, or they affect who you are so passionately. That can go with politics, which I never talk about, but like people who are so far on the extremes, that's their identity. But the most important thing I've learned is to being open to ideas and being wrong and learning. Like I said, I'm a connoisseur to knowledge. So my my stance is I know nothing. And please tell me more and show me other ways and show me other views and yeah.
I love it. Okay, where's the best place people can go?
Um, you can, my Instagram is Janae Noonan, Facebook Janae Noonan, my website's Janae Noonan. If you have a book and you want to publish, that's Victory Book Publishing. If you want a safety seminar, we have staysafe.org, staysafeedu.org, which we didn't even talk about. And find my Instagram. I'll message you back.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's cool about messaging back when you ask to come on the show. So if you're a podcaster looking to have a great guest, Janae's the best. Okay. Thanks again, Janae. Appreciate it. That was the
Thank
special
you.
simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and celebrity interviews live from the grotto. Take care, guys.